welcome into another high school preview show. This time we got Coach Johnson at East Clarendon. What's going on, Coach?
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing good. Got Espo up here too. Espo?
Coach, how we doing today? Beautiful afternoon. Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, man.
It's a great time for these preview shows. Coach, this is your second year back on. Let's kind of hop right into it. Let's talk about last year a little bit for you guys.
Man, we had a pretty good year. We ended the year 21-9. Lost to Latta the game before lower state championship. We were leading in the seventh, like 5-2 with 2 outs, 2 strikes on the hitter. Got a little routine fly ball to right on a fastball off away. Landed behind my right fielder. Hit a guy, and then I was out of pitching. He ran out of pitches. He threw the day before, so he only had whatever that magic number was, 75, I think it was. I made sure I got that right. 75. And had to bring in a senior that hadn't pitched a whole lot, and walk, error, single, game over.
Oof.
So but it was good, man. We beat a lot of teams that people probably thought we shouldn't have beat, to be honest. We we beat Socastee, we beat White Knoll, Irmo, West Florence, beat Johnsonville twice, beat Pamplico, I guess 3 times. Beat Williamsburg Academy, who was really good, beat them 1-0 and game at our place. So we won some games that people probably looked around and said, dang, man. I think we lost to Carolina Forest 2-1 at their place, was leading 1-0 going into the bottom of the 7th, gave it 2 runs. So our kids played well. We played a tough schedule, and they played well, and I was proud of them.
Now, obviously coming off of last year, and need a little bit of Coach Cujo in the back end of that bullpen last year,
Yeah.
but throwing that invisible fastball rolling back in there, but kind of obviously bouncing back off of last year's team. What are some returners you're looking to step up and take some leadership roles, or some guys that you're looking to lean on and kind of get your team over that hump?
Man, so we lost Caleb Coker, who was co-pitcher of the year in 1A. He was 9-1 through 65 innings, which is a lot in high school. And he was like our dog, man. He went and got people. We lost our catcher, who threw out a lot of people. We controlled the running game well, and he threw them out. And our shortstop, we lost him. We lost the starting right fielder, lost our starting third baseman. But we got a lot of kids. We got our whole outfield back: Dawson Beard, Whit Nesbitt, Cooper Golf, Dakota Cornelius. Got a young kid, Evan Lee, that's got a chance out there. But then we get Foster back at shortstop, who's had a good summer in our Sandlapper League with us, had a great summer, actually. And you get Hunter Mixon back at first base, who was really, really good for us last year to hit in the middle of the order. And then you got these young guys that you feel good about coming up from JV, Ryland McKenzie and Bleeze Hardy pitched for us on the varsity level last year. Didn't get a whole lot of at-bats because he was more of a pitcher only for us. He got some at-bats in JV. Barnes McConnell, and then you got Kinley Sullivan and Granger Barano, who's fighting it out for catcher. So you feel good about the guys you got coming back. And on the mound, Foster beat Socastee last year. Bleeze beat Johnsonville, shut Johnsonville out, beat Pamplico, lost to Carolina Forest 2-1. So you feel good about those guys that you have coming back. Cooper Golf was good for us on the mound last year. At the end, beat Williamsburg Academy, was beating Latta in the last game. So you feel good about those guys coming back. We feel good about our nucleus. Our guys have worked really hard in the weight room. We had 2 Sandlapper teams this summer, so all of our kids played together. All of our young kids were on one team. All of our older kids were on another. We were not missing any kids this summer from our program, so we all played together and got to play some good competition. So you feel good about where you're at, what you're doing, how they've worked in the weight room, how they've done their off-season throwing program and those kind of things. And then you feel good about a lot of our guys play football. And we had a good year in football. We finished second in our region, second in the region in 2A, which shocked a lot of people with us going up to 2A in football. And a lot of our best players are our best baseball players. So you got Dakota was our starting quarterback. He's our starting He's an outfielder for us. You got Dawson Beard, who was an H-back. He's a starting left fielder. Hunter Mixon was a running back, linebacker, starting at first base. Bleeze was the backup quarterback and got to play at the end of the year some. He's good for us. So you got all those guys that understand what it takes to be tough and to grind and those kind of things. So you feel good about the nucleus that we have.
No doubt. You talked about kind of losing an important arm And you obviously have to have guys that step up, whether it's beginning of the year, end of the year, throughout the year. What are some newcomers you got coming in?
So we have a kid named Rylan McKenzie who was our best guy on JV last year. He was great this summer for us. He's worked really hard. I feel good about him on the mound. I feel good about Foster being back. Foster showed times last year where he was our best arm last year when he was on. When Bleez had his breaking ball working, he was hard for people to hit. So you feel good about those. I got a young left-handed kid, Evan Lee, who he's left-handed and he don't throw hard. And, that's always trouble for everybody. So I feel good about that. Cooper, like I said, Cooper Golf's back. He had some great starts at the end of the year. And then you got some other guys that are trying to figure it out a little bit. You got like Crosby Timmons and Colton Baker, just some young 10th graders that you don't know if they're going to be JV players or varsity players, but they have the ability to go get some innings. And then you have some older guys who can go get innings for us in games that might not be as competitive, because there's some of those that we got to play in our region. So they'll be able to go get some innings in those games. But we're really going to lean on Foster and Bleez and Cooper and Rylan and Evan and those guys. And like I said, they were good this summer for us. And I'm excited about what they're going to be. I feel like as a program, we're going to pitch all the time. We're going to pitch because we're going to throw breaking balls 0-0, 1-0, 2-0, 3-2. Like, we throw breaking balls, and it's hard for high school kids it's hard for them to hit, and especially at our level. So we just try to change timing, and I feel like our pitching is going to be fine, and they'll be able to go out and figure it out. Now, we might not have the guy like Caleb where he's going to go out and throw 7 innings on 80 pitches and strike out 8 and give up 2 hits. Like, we might not have that guy, but I feel good about what we have as a staff.
Yeah, obviously be able to mix and match a bunch of those guys kind of can help you guys out. Now, the one thing I guess that it's all across the state now, right? A lot of change within, people moving up from, you guys 1A to 2A, or people moving up from 2A to 3A or 4A to 5A. But does that kind of change something? I know you had some turnover, but you got a good group back. Does that kind of change? How are your expectations for this group moving into the 2025 year?
I feel good about us. It's high school kids. You're dealing with high school kids. You never know how they're going to play every day. You don't know if they're going to be upset because their girlfriend broke up with them, or they're mad at their parents or whatever. I mean, it's a high school kid, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids is what we make our living off of, how successful they are. And Coach Espo, I remember when Coach Tanner used to talk about that all the time. He made his living off of 18 to 21-year-olds and how successful they are. And so you never know what you're going to get with those kids. But I mean, I expect us to play hard. I expect us to pitch. I expect us to play defense. I expect us to run the bases. We're going to bunt and those things. And our region is I think our region's top heavy. I think ACA is going to be pretty good. They got some good players. And then Lake City's always got athletes, and us. And then you never know what Marion's going to have some years. And then Mullins, Kingstree, those guys. But I feel like with ACA and Lake City at the top of our region, it's going to be tough in our region. But I mean, we're going to play some games against some people that people are going to look at and say, why are you playing them? And like, we're playing Hartsfield, Carolina Forest, West Florence, Socastee, South Florence. They're all on our schedule. ACA, Lake City, all those guys are on our schedule multiple times. So we're trying to get our kids prepared to make a run. The one thing we really worked hard last year is we didn't want to get to Lakeview and see the Hurlong kid. He's 83, 85, 86, and we act like we've never seen it before. And we handled that very well compared to the year before because of the competition we faced. So, I mean, I think we have a chance to be successful. I think we could be a good team, but it's going to take some time. They got to make sure they're playing the way we want to play and make sure that they're bought into what we're trying to do. And the competition's going to be different. I mean, you got in 2A, you got Sherrall and Philip Simmons and ACA and Andrew Jackson and Buford and Central. And I mean, not even really getting into the upstate where you have all those guys. You're just thinking about just trying to get in the playoffs in the lower state and play in the lower state. It's going to be tough.
I think it's that everybody's got to have that adjustment with the new reclassification for everybody.
Yeah, and we're the smallest school in 2A now. We are the smallest in 2A. I think our 9 through 11 number was 323. I think is what our number was. So so we barely. So we're the smallest school. You think about that. We're in the same region as like Manning High and Lake City and Lake City's number. But think about Philip Simmons and Manning High and those guys. We're competing against them. But our baseball program is probably not a 1A or 2A program, the amount of kids we have in the program. We have 3 teams. We'll have 80 kids try out, 85 kids try out, and we'll have 15 to 18 probably on every team just to make sure we don't have to cut a bunch of kids that you really don't know what they're going to be at the younger ages.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach, we appreciate you hopping on and breaking down what you got coming this 2025 season.
I appreciate y'all having me.